Hi there, everybody. It's Kristina Wolf here, and welcome to Energy Mastery, creating systems that support your best life. And today we're going to be having an amazing conversation with none other than the money medium herself, Jennifer MacFarlane. So, Jennifer, I am so happy you're here. Like, we've had so many snafus trying to get to this point, but we're here. So, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and the things that you do with your business?
Yeah, thank you, Kristina. It's so great. So great to be here. I am super excited to be a part of this series. A little bit about me. Okay, where do I start? I guess I should tell you I grew up in small town Nova Scotia, Canada, and the road that I wasn't always the money medium, if I can say that. I grew up on a street called Black Hole Road.
Oh, wonderful.
That says a lot about how I grew up. Just usually when I say that, everybody's like, oh. So, there weren't a lot of dreamers on Black Hole Road, and there wasn't really anybody with aspirations or anybody even asking about what you might dream of or what you wanted to do with your life. So I moved to Alberta when I graduated, and that's when everything started to change for me. And I always had an entrepreneurial spirit because I did grow up around a lot of farming. And I think farmers are actually like natural entrepreneurs because you grow up with that desire to get up and make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting up and making money when you're a farmer. So,
and you're self-employed, right? You're definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And me and my sister would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and pick corn from my uncle's farm and bring it into town by the truckloads and sell it. And so at a very young age, we learned those, how to be personable with people and how to sell them an extra dozen of corn, simple things. So I grew to love money at a young age because there was always lots of cash coming in. And I loved that feeling of cash moving through my hands. So at the end of the day, our uncle would just like count out a few $100s each to us, right? And that was like big money when we were 12, 13 years old. So that's how my life started. Now, as the money medium, that kind of started about 2 years ago. And I've had many I was a yoga teacher and a Pilates teacher, all kinds of stuff. So I come at this mindset from a meditational, intuitive point of view. Mm-hmm. So I think the most important thing for entrepreneurs to make sure that they have in place when they're taking on this kind of lifestyle is that they really know how to relax. They understand self-care and they relax. Because if you don't have those two things, man, shit'll just get really overwhelming really quickly.
Pinching yourself off from abundance. You're not in receptive mode, basically.
Yeah, you got to get in receptive mode.
Because I've mentioned with like several other people that participated in this series so far, like all that creative energy for money, for managing your time, your personal life, it all comes from the same place. Because money the piece of paper is just a symbol for that currency of energy. So
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is attracted to you when you're feeling good.
Yes, because when you chase it, it goes away.
That's right. Just like a man.
Just like a
man. So it's like even learning simple things like a couple breathing techniques so that because I can guarantee you, and you know this now too, it's like when stuff starts to get overwhelming, technical stuff, because you will be doing things that you never imagined you'd be doing. Mm-hmm. And when you sit in front of a computer for a few more hours than
Me
you're
with
used
web
to.
design, which is not my forte, and you get all tense and out, and definitely.
Yeah, you've got to like pee for 3 hours and you still have to be.
Yes.
So it's learning to really, because here's the thing. In the world that we live in, when we are working in the corporate world or for other people, they nurture our needs in a way that they tell us our schedule. They tell us when to show up. They tell us when to have time off.
They
and that's
that infrastructure in there for us, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to make sure you're creating that for yourself as an entrepreneur. Making sure you have, although I'm not the best night sleeper, I do know how to take care of myself because I'm not a big night sleeper. It's when I get a lot of my work done. I'll make sure that when my son goes to school, I have a good big nap and a hot bath and a nice cup of tea and just connect with myself before I do any work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's that space you got to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just working. I just made a video about this where if you're not in that relaxed, aligned place, the vortex, if you're not there, you're efforting your work. You're not. It's not divinely orchestrated, I guess.
Yeah. Or some would say it's not the feeling of being in alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you feel like you're in alignment actually means, things are coming together. You're in the flow. Things are flowing to you. Things are flowing well. And when you're not in alignment, that shows up like the opposite of that. You feel like nothing's working out. Nothing is coming together.
Things are hard. Yeah.
It feels hard.
Yes.
Oftentimes you'll feel paralyzed, right? Like.
So where do we get that? Because I know we maybe from our parents, right? Like that generation behind us thought that you have to be hard. If you work hard, you're going to be able to make something of yourself. But being maybe industrious or productive or whatever, that's different than hard.
Hard. Because when you're in alignment, productive becomes easy. Even though there's maybe more hours of work involved than you thought, it still feels like fun. It feels like passion. There might be little moments where you're like, but you can still find the humor in it, or you can walk away from it and realize it's not the end of the world if it doesn't get done by tonight, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason you take on being an entrepreneur is so that you can enjoy your life.
Right. I really think that a lot of people, when they decide to become an entrepreneur, it highlights the idea that they don't know how to enjoy their life.
Yes, it
That
does. Because
element.
then there's nobody else to blame.
Yeah, and all of this bubbles up to the surface. So this is kind of one of the main reasons for this speaker series is learning that infrastructure, how to enjoy your life, because that's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose. So, like I said, I think we inherited a lot of these ideas from our parents. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because the thing is, this is where I go to work with my clients the most. And I really am passionate about it, because if we look at our generational and ancestral money stuff, really life stuff, but when we talk about money with somebody, it really encompasses everything.
And it's very a sensitive topic, like private. If you ask, well, how much oh my goodness,
talk about that with anybody. Meanwhile, you've got $20,000 debt and you think that's horrible, and your neighbor's got $60,000 and they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So everybody comes to dinner and is drinking wine, pretending that they're fine, and everybody's worried and not talking about it. So me and my friends, we talk about our money. We talk about, every aspect of it. And it's it's fun when you open up. There's nothing to be afraid of with talking about money.
Wow, so you're $50,000 in debt too. Yes, I'm not the only one who has an overspending issue.
That makes me feel so much better, right?
We're all dysfunctional together. Yes, wonderful. But you know what, though? I really think that's
actually normal.
Yeah, I think
because
it's scary to say it's normal, but yeah, I think that a lot of people have like crazy issues with money and dealing with overspending and
and even their worries or their fears or how they feel about it, you know, not just about debt, but about the feelings around money. When you can, when you have a couple of girlfriends or maybe even a sister or mom, depending on your relationships, it never really works out to be family that I know of, but maybe for you.
The family you created, perhaps?
Maybe the one you adopt for yourself.
Yes.
But it makes this sort of sisterhood for women, if there's men on here, you know, whatever it is. It's like a friendship circle. And it's kind of like talking about sex, religion, politics, money. We've got to learn to be open about all of those things.
Yeah.
And we've been told for so long not to talk about any of those things. So I really those are the things I enjoy talking about.
And you know what though? I think people are really dying to have the space to have intimate conversations about money because they don't want to just talk about it on the street. But they want to know, you're in debt too? You're up at night worrying about this? Talk to me. We need to talk.
Well, and then you learn things from each other about, oh, what have you done? Oh, those are different credit cards that have 0%. Maybe I can switch some of my money over there. Once you open up, opportunities open up. When you're scared to talk about it, you're just stuck in your own little sort of cycle of
denial and shame and all the above, right? So
nothing can open up for you inside of that.
Yeah. When you're a new entrepreneur, coach, how can you work on your mindset to, I think at first even identify all your blocks? I think they start coming out of the woodwork when you're building a business and you're like, I had no idea that I was afraid to make a lot of money or whatever your block is, you know. And so how would you work with entrepreneurs or coaches about overcoming those deep-rooted money blocks?
Yeah, those deep ones. Because, you know, our thoughts, I always teach people how to understand their thoughts because as, you know, a follower of the law of attraction, and that's within a lot of my teachings, except I teach law of attraction a little differently. And I think a lot of people are learning about the law of attraction on a different level because I'm just going off track a little bit. We were taught with the law of attraction at first that we had to focus on the positive only. And what we realized through that is if we're not being honest with ourselves first, then that it kind of becomes a bit of a lie. Just being
you're
positive.
Blocking something there. You're blocking that.
You can actually block more.
Yeah.
So it's always good to peek back. And it's like peek back into your history and into your childhood and see, how did your parents talk to you about money? So look at those things. Did they talk to you about money? How did your parents talk amongst themselves? My
dad being like very, like it was rude to ask how much somebody made. Like he didn't tell you, nobody, we didn't talk about it, but that I had to work for everything. Come on, you're going outside. It's a Saturday morning. You're not sleeping in. You're coming out and weeding the garden with me. I learned to be industrious at an early age, like you. I worked on a produce farm. I was picking vegetables. At 11 years old, I was working on a horse farm, mucking out stalls. But I learned, like you do it, you earn that money. That money is freedom. That money gives you choices, and you don't have to wait on anybody to give it to you. Yeah.
Which is fine.
For those money lessons that I learned from my family, I think those are positive ones. You know, that taught me independence. at a very early age. I mean, I would dig up $6.37 and put it in an envelope, and here, Dad, take it to the bank with you. And unbeknownst to me, he would put in, $20 or whatever. And suddenly I had this enormous amount of money in high school, and I bought my own car. It was like the lesson there is, you work for
money is really fun. Yeah. It's fun to watch money as numbers,
Yes,
it really is. And so just try to have fun with it. But I have had some clients who have interesting relationships with money. One girl in particular grew up, her stepfather was a drug dealer. So money, there was always an abundance of cash, but it never felt good to her. It always felt really, the scene was dirty and not good. So money to her meant not good things, dirty things. And
so like being poor or being pure or something.
Yeah.
Like a poverty
for her
or something is good.
Yeah. Well, it's like she took a vow when she was young that she didn't want to have money because it represented all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still happening in her adult entrepreneurial world. And so teaching her first to love money, I said, get some flowers, place some money around some roses so that it starts to look visually and feel like something beautiful, like something fun, create a different relationship with it.
And I think too, a lot of women in particular have an issue asking for money. That whole idea of, well, I feel rude. I feel like I'm being a used car salesman. Something's weird about making a sale. I mean, so many of the same, like, or I don't know that I'm worth somebody investing in me, the same. And I say that like that because these are all thoughts that popped up in my head from time to time, and they're very deep rooted. I think these might be some of the common ones, but I don't know. Maybe I have a few of my own strange ones too.
Oh yeah, and we think that once we get over or understand a block, that it's just gonna poof disappear.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
No, it's just something you manage, right? Like kind of like
then you understand it, so you can manage it as as you see it, right? So when you're not good enough self shows up, you can have a little conversation and then carry on and move through it with it, rather than trying, because like you were saying before, I think when we were chatting before, you can never really get away from yourself. You never really do. There's you.
Oh yeah, when we were talking about the zeros, but you're just, when you start making more money, you're just adding more zeros to yourself, and you're, and I think that might be some of my blocks too. Like, well, if I couldn't manage $100 budget, why would I be able to manage $100,000 budget? So then I'm just going to make money and we'll solve that problem.
Right. And the only way you can do different, because that is true, if you add 3 zeros to yourself, then you will find a way to spend the exact same way you've always spent.
Yeah.
Unless you do something different than you've always done. If that's what you want. Some people want to keep living at that level. That's what they just want to keep making more so they can keep upping the level that they can live at. Some people want to have long-term, short-term savings, everything. So figure out what you want first. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of wealth do you want to have?
And who do you want to be while you're having it, really? Yeah. Because like I was saying too, there's people who are millionaires and they're still worried about where the next dollar's coming from. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter how many zeros you have.
Your mind acts the same way, unless you train your mind to act a different way. So for those people, I'm glad that you brought us to this point, Because here's the thing, those people that probably have millions of dollars and still worried about where the next dollar is going to come from, they probably grew up in a home where there was huge amounts of scarcity and very big drive to do well. So I see this a lot.
So they're making the money to avoid something and not work towards abundance.
Yeah. Or to, often people work really hard to still, even at 40, 50, 60 years old, to prove something to their parents or to prove something to somebody, instead of setting their life up so that they can enjoy it the way that they want to enjoy it, not the way they've been told to enjoy it.
Or for the Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I know. And everybody, when you really detail how you want your wealth to feel in your life, it's different for everyone.
And I think some people don't even get to the point where they're thinking about it enough to know, like, well, like, we do an exercise in one of my coaching classes, and it's like, think about how much you want to make per month. And some people are literally like scratching their, I don't know, 5,000 maybe, I don't know. And they don't have an idea. And I'm not going to say I wasn't one of them, to be very clear about how much you want to make and, that kind of thing. Most people don't have those sort of conversations. They're sort of like, spend and close my eyes and hope that the bank doesn't, come back and say, well, we'll just skip that payment this month and pay for this instead.
I think people are sometimes their money is so elusive in their lives, they actually have no idea how much, where they're at, how much comes in, no idea, like actually no clue.
Yeah. And I make like 3 times as much as I'm making now, and still remembered feeling stressed out, like I didn't have enough. And it's that piece there that, I think if you're going to really tap into feeling abundant, it's getting to the source of that sort of energy. Yeah. Yeah. So, to kind of summarize a little bit of what we're talking about, bring it together, what are the 3 most important things you think an entrepreneur should know about their money mindset?
Okay, so 3 things. I think every entrepreneur, every person, but every entrepreneur for sure, especially moving into this new age of entrepreneurialism, is to understand how your own mind works. How does your mind work? And spend a little bit of time each day getting to know your subconscious thoughts, especially, right? That's something I haven't mentioned much, but because your conscious thoughts are the ones that you're in control of. Your subconscious ones are the ones that are controlling you.
Right.
So it's like, and you don't always hear the subconscious thoughts. So sit for 10, 20 minutes a day. Just do it. You can lay down. You don't have to be cross-legged, yogi lady. You just need to get to know yourself. And once you start,
is where people need it's a common thread. Like, people just need to slow down and get quiet, and that's where that space comes from of really receiving, I guess, allowing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even still to this day, because I'm planning a live event, I always get nervous whenever I'm doing something new or, at a new place or something's different about it. And I'll hear something come into my mind like, this is never going to work out. And I'm like, really? You're still here? Okay, I thought we got to know you many times. Here you are showing up. And because then it will show up, because it's your old, kind of like an old part of you that's still holding on to something.
And then you go, I remember you, but you're not invited anymore.
Oh, by the way, we are going to figure this out.
Yeah. You can't come over to the party anymore if you're going to talk like that.
Yeah, and so that's the other side of that, is I always tell people to use opposites. So once you understand those thoughts, and let's say the thought is, oh, you'll never fill that room, or you'll never fill that course. And then take that and go, I'm so good at what I do. And take something that you can feel, right? Don't just kind of make something and throw it out there. Find something that you can feel and say, like, I am so good at what I do. I just know I'm going to fill that room. That room is going to be so filled with energy, and it's probably going to overfill. I'll probably have a wait list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So create a
that feeling space. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of going bigger than just using an affirmation. It's using a bit of a feeling story to converse with that negative thought or whatever it is that comes up. And then,
because your mind, your subconscious doesn't know the difference, really. As long as you're feeling good, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And then before you know it, the momentum starts going and you're on this bus instead of that bus.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you stay on that bus without a correction, you just kind of
drive off the road, hit a ditch, perhaps. Yes. I love analogies.
Yeah, hit a tree.
So we've had that piece of get quiet, kind of, and then what else? What are the other?
Then, you know, just from a personal perspective from growing as an entrepreneur, is that constantly put some of your money, because often when we get into this work, our money becomes our income, you know, and we use it as ours, not our business, unless we're really set up as an incorporation or something. And it takes time. So be generous and gentle with yourself. Know that it takes a little bit of time, but always take some money and put it back into your business. And it's kind of like, remember to bankroll yourself a little bit and use that little bit to just keep upgrading yourself and your business a little bit at a time. It's not all at once. It's never going to be all at once.
My guy is like that too. He's always telling me that, you know, I was a business major, and if you're going to make money, you always take a piece of it and make sure it makes more money for you. Yeah. So I totally see that. You want to get that investment, reinvest some of it.
Yeah. And that's reinvesting in yourself and your business, you know, make sure that you're always doing that, and little upgrades like a photo shoot or like a new piece of equipment here and there, because we think that we're going to get everything that we need and it'll be done. But you're on this road forever, hopefully, right? You're on this road because there's some part of you that wants to do life differently. So be prepared for it to be like a child. You're always going to be giving to it, and it's always going to be upgrading and wanting something new. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's kind of like getting a massage, you know. Just because you did it one time doesn't mean you stop doing it. It's fun while you're doing it, so you want to keep doing it. So
you get a massage, and then next month you want a massage and a pedicure.
I've already had one massage in my entire life. I'm good. You know.
Oh, you're not a massage girl?
No. I'm just saying, girl. Who says that? Who would say that? You know, like, no, it's good. You want to keep doing something that feels good. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
So you're going to reinvest in yourself. You're going to get quiet and kind of think about, you know, that receptive mode. And then what was the third thing?
Using that conversational feeling place to sort of correct when you feel those negative thoughts coming on that want to like take the whole ship down.
Yep.
now that you've heard us talk about this,
when
you'll recognize them.
Yeah. Feel, practice that so that when you're having a full-blown crisis, you're good at reverting or routing yourself back on track.
Yeah, it's kind of like being your own therapist. Be your own therapist, because you and that stuff comes up once you start realizing it. You'll notice it's there a lot more than you ever imagined it was.
Okay, that's the 27th time I thought that today. Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe it's actually constant. Maybe.
Yes. We really need to have a chat. So,
Yeah.
well, this has been like the most fun interview I've had in a very long time. We need to keep it too close because our listeners are going to be like,
Yes.
these girls can talk.
That's right.
So if we want to hear more from you, though, how do we get a hold of you?
So my website is themoneymedium.com, and I have a thing to share with you, which I believe you have the link to. You're going to stick it in for them.
We're going to put your free gift link attached to this.
Yeah, I call it the MBBM. It's the Money Block Breakthrough Method, and you can do it within an hour, and it's kind of like your own mindset coaching. So it's what I bring my clients through in our first session. And and then you know how to work, because you know what? We all know how to do this and have these tools to do ourselves. Everybody needs to know how to do this stuff. So that is for you. And you can always check me out on Facebook too. I'm always there.
All right. It has been such a fun time. I'm so glad we did this, and I hope we'll get to chat again soon. And
thank you so much for having me.
All right. Take care of her. Bye for now.
Bye for now.